I record this too. I guess next time I do that, I should start off like in this mode. But anyway, how do I simultaneously hit this one and then get back to where I belong? That'll be tricky. Still streaming. Same day, same art, different hour. Now I got my hold on, I got a message. Okay. I got my phone up. What I'm trying to do here is see if everything works, which it rarely does. Is this one on? Let me see. This, in theory, this would be my channel. How do I get to my channel? There it is. Right, it says streaming now, which is correct. We go here, which is correct. Why is that thing still there? The chat window will be open. What's this? What is that? I didn't want that. Make it go away. Oh my god. Advances in technology, let me tell you. Right, I just want to see if the chat was working. So now if I go and I look at my thing over here. Right. There we go. So, okay, I gotta turn the volume up. So my phone is on next to me so I can see if anyone's chatting. That's what I was worried about. Not like I'm expecting 100 people to come start watching me or anything, but in the event. I just want to be prepared for it. So that's awesome. I got the phone next to me with a chat remote and I can see that. And, oh man, I'm exhausted. I just had to drive into town, pay a power bill. See what we got. So I'm going to zoom in here. Where I left off was about the legs in the last video. We're listening to Rachel Catlin's composition. She is the sound director and sound producer for my game and for any work I do in the future, I guess. She's the girl for the job. And she she made these songs for the Greek-themed game. Well, it's a game that has multiple themes, but the Greek theme within the game Keystone Library. So Keystone Library has a lot of games inside of it, puzzles and games with, currently only Greek and Blade Runner cyberpunk kind of theme is coming up soon. But where should his muscle go? Around here. What's that one? It wraps up this way, I think. Yeah. I'm just trying to cover up this sketchy stuff and make something more realistic. So she makes... Oh, shit. No, it does. It comes from... it comes from over here. So she made all the music for that. And the game is going to have all kinds of... it's going to have all kinds of themes. That's why it's called Keystone Library. It's supposed to be a library full of mini games. It's all keyboard stuff. So you got typing games, keyboard puzzles, and RPG quests and stuff. So you don't need a controller. A lot of people say, what do you mean need a controller? I want a controller. Well, I don't. I like... this muscle tone's all wrong. I like keyboards. I guess because I do a lot of programming. It's my usual routine job, I'd put it. It's one of my other passions. So, I mean, I'm botching up on the leg here, but I don't know. I think a lot of people don't really... You got to be an artist or a doctor to know where is the leg anatomy supposed to go anyway. Everybody knows biceps, triceps, pecs, and this and that, but when you get into the legs, you don't have to be too nitpicky. Although I do want to impress my fellow artist a little bit. They're trying to get it somewhat accurate. I'm still wondering about this. And somebody out there has memorized, of course, the names of all of these muscles. And maybe they know more than a med student, but not me. It's not my thing. Something like that. Because there's a big muscle that comes in here. It's probably the muscle that helps you to squeeze your legs inward and also rotate. You know, like you have a knee right here, and if your knee was like a joint, like a latch on a door, then it should only swing up and down, right? But it can also kind of go sideways, right? You can make your foot go to the side while your leg stays still. You do some soccer maneuvers, something like that. So how do you do that? Because there's some other muscles here. It might be the ACL. Somebody will talk about the ACL. I always hear people say ACL, and I'll nod my head and say, oh yeah, ACL, yeah, I know. But I don't really know which one it is. It's one of those like complex leg muscles or tendons or something that everybody seems to have heard of. And the only reason you've heard of it is because you know that if you tear it, it's really, really bad. Other than that, you didn't really expect to think about it too much. If you looked at a chicken bone, a chicken leg, you wouldn't know which one is the ACL, would you? Little white spot there. It's kind of cool that I can have that working on my phone while I'm over here. This is all botched up. One thing I slowly set more and more hotkeys as the years go by. The next hotkey I might start setting is something to do with what you just saw me do right there, when I have to go over here and change the opacity, which happens a lot. Oh, and while I'm here, this white lines I meant to go over them. I'm replacing that with that yellow line layer, so I won't need that. As a matter of fact, I could turn that off. Get it out of the way. Revealing that we have a very bad ankle. What to do? Oh, one thing at a time. Get a kneecap. Goes up here with a touch of lighting. That's way too much. I have a trick for it. So there's two bones here, right? There's one. Where's the other one? Is it over on this side or on that side? But either way, yeah, the one is like in the back. I think that's how that works, isn't it? I forget, but it kind of looks like that. So I'll leave that like that. And this actually is that big bone. Because of the bones, just like up here, the ribs are getting pronounced a bit along with the muscle. You do the same thing here. And yeah, I like how that worked. And then do some sinew and, what did I call it? The fleshy parts. The meat. What's wrong with me today? I can't think. Like I said, I just got off the road. I'm exhausted. The long 1 hour trip. Even 1 hour trip in a car, a lot of people say, oh, I need a break. But me, I hop right back to work. Look at this. So I'm really nervous. I'm packed full of energy and extremely nervous because I got a lot of bills to pay. Whoa, right into that new song. That previous song was a loop. Loop, da da loop. So this song, you'll notice it has a bit of an Egyptian flair to it. I was trying to talk about this earlier, but I kept losing track. And that's because we couldn't find precisely what is the theme of this game. This particular section of the game is Greek. But what is Greek music supposed to sound like exactly? Nobody really seems to know. You know, you can do your research, but it doesn't seem to get you anywhere. But we came out with this. So it's a combination of, we needed energy. So it's a lute-like instrument, but it's being strummed like a guitar, right, for that energy. See, now that I'm doing this, I'm realizing this doesn't make any sense at all. Because where's the tendon going to go if that's the end of the muscle? It has to go here. Yeah, maybe that's why my legs often don't look realistic. That makes a lot more sense there. do that more often. Maybe I do need to study that anatomy a bit more. Matter of fact, is now the time? Let's see. This anatomy leg. See what we got here. Am I downloading something? It's really slow. No, I don't want another artist's. So when I said artist anatomy, I mean anatomy for artists, not by artists. No, here we go. Right, so that other bone is on the outside. Kneecap is just kind of right there. And then, see where the sinew comes in here? That's really good image right there. That's the one I need. And there is, see, I was wrong again. That's the muscle I was talking about earlier right there. Oh, man. Is that the kneecap? Is that how that? Huh. Did you ever dissect a frog? It kind of looks like that. Let me stick this in here. And I'll go find another one. I want to get more of the bone. This one looks good. See, this is human drawn, but I like the detail there. Look at that. Those are good. It's so complicated. I can't stand it. That and like back muscles. Like it's hard to set to memory, you know? Because it's just so abstract. And every person that you look at, like you look at a bodybuilder. Why is this so slow? Oh, I guess because I'm streaming. You look at a bodybuilder and you try and get exactly how the abs are okay, pecs are okay. It's always like similar. You kind of get a feel for it. But even like lining it up exactly where it should be according to the belly button and this and that, it doesn't really seem to make sense. It's not universal. It's not the same with everybody. And then when you start to look at the fine details of the muscles, anything that's not something you work at the gym, all the little muscles here and there, the ones between your ribs and the one on those strange corners of your back, all those little things put together, there's no universal answer. Some people, they just seem to have different shapes, and I guess it depends on how you work out, but I don't know. I just want a basic kind of interesting here. That really looks realistic, how it wraps around. I like how this one wraps around. That I do know, and there seems to be, yeah, the front muscle there on the shin, or is that the shin bone? I don't know. Anyway, let's revert to this thing. That seems to be consistent with everything else. Tap a button over here, back to my layer. Nope. Where'd you go? Get back here. Okay. Wait a minute. Go back. Yes. Good. Okay. Yeah. So well, it looks like maybe I was wrong. Maybe this muscle can go all the way up to the knee. Let me check that out over here. Here's from the back. Yeah, the muscle goes all the way up. It does kind of tuck up in there, huh? Just like how the muscle in the elbow does the same trick. Okay. Well, I'm just gonna run with it, you know. So now you see we changed song. This is also, this one is for the Minotaur, and it just sounds so perfect. Don't you feel like you're in the Minotaur's kind of dungeon there? Yeah, the Minotaur's looking at you right now. He's gonna get you. Okay, so that's on the outside of the leg is where that other one is. There's two leg muscles. What's it doing out there anyway? That thing. But I won't see it from this angle anyway. And then this muscle on this side, there's like two of them. It does come in and out like that. And then it there should be like, it covers up the bone here. Something like this. So, wait. Inside, outside. So I'm drawing on the inside. Right, so the inside, it seems to creep in like this. God, I hate it when I can't get it. This is why I need more of the opacity. It comes in, and then, oh wow. So I'm on the inside, right? It comes in, goes down, and then goes back out And that's where you get that the ankle, what we just call the ankle. If you point at that and say, what's that? When you're a kid, everyone will say, well, that's your ankle. And I'm like, yeah, but the whole thing is the ankle. What's that part that pops out right there? The bump part. Is there a specific name for the bump that pops out? And then everybody says, shut up, I don't know, it's just your ankle. Why are you so stupid? And then I say, well, if I'm so stupid, how come I don't, I don't know what the name is, and I'm asking good questions here. And then they get offended and they walk out of the room. And that's how you learn from your friends. So, this muscle I was talking about earlier, it comes from the outside and swings in to the inside and goes all the way up to the knee. Isn't that stupid? Why does it do that? It's so crazy. Who asked this place to be so damn complicated? But it comes all the way up to the hip. Wow. It's crazy. So go like that. So now, I just basically fleshed that out. But here's the other fun. If you look at like a bodybuilder, it never looks like this. What it'll look like, we got that layer. See this thing here. What I got here? This thing here looks like it comes down smooth like that, and then this looks right. But what you actually see is usually this is all like fatty, so it's just like a tube, and you'll see pronounced really finely right here is like a little butt cheek. You can even look at your own knee. If you stretch your leg out straight as you can, you might see a little butt cheek there. So you get butt on your knee. Back here, I'm gonna keep back where I was. I had a burp or something. Oh, I'm so thirsty. It's hot outside. I've been running around and sweating. Okay, so I'm doing a really bad job. I should have just flipped this so it's easier to read. So this is the inside, this is the inside. Therefore, this muscle, which I think is no, that one goes over there. All right, so yeah, so this one goes over here like that. And this one is where, so my butt cheek, that's why I was talking about the butt cheek, should go here. And, right, so this one goes over like that. Something like that, that's good enough. Yeah, good enough. Just do it like that. There's, as I was saying earlier, probably like few people in the world. First of all, few people. How many people are going to see this? Now, I don't want to have. If you go into things with that kind of pessimism, you never achieve anything. I have to assume. I have to hope that this is going to do well and people are going to look at it and like it. So I have hope. But at the same time, I don't want to put too much time into something that possibly nobody would see. Because that would, in fact, just be a waste of time. So that's the end of that song. That was the Minotaur. It's the second boss in the Keystone Library Greek mythology book. It's a good book. Typing games, puzzles, and side quests. The side quests are additions to the typing challenges. So it's also like a typing mini game within the typing game. Let's see. How am I gonna make this work? Something like that. This would get boring. I'm doing some very detailed cleanup work here. All right. See how sloppy this is in here? See how I keep going back to change the opacity? That's what I was saying earlier, that's annoying. So I want to find a hotkey. I know that there has to be one. I'm not saying that there isn't one. I'm just apathetic to go find one. And I'm also running out of keys. I don't know if I have any more keys to set hotkeys to that won't be a mile away, and then it's not even worth it. I might as well use the mouse. Okay. Now here's a part I just don't even want to know. Let's assume, now I need a stronger opacity. Am I on the right layer? Yeah. Why isn't that? Okay. The toenail. Let's assume is, because he doesn't look very comfortable. He's not like chilling on a sofa with his Nintendo Switch. You know, he's kind of being tortured. He's missing body parts and stuff, so he's probably not very comfortable. So make it his toes would be like, you know, like crunched up and writhing pain kind of thing. And he's probably not very healthy with that abdomen he has. So I would assume that he's going to be a little bony down here in the foot area. So I want to pronounce, this is just 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at my reference. Yeah, there's a bone there, a bone there. I should do a better job studying feet bones. One of these days I'll spend an afternoon. But again, with the feet, it's a little bit similar to how people don't really pay attention to that, so I don't want to waste too much time at it. But also, I do want to make great art. And sometimes those little details help. Because you might not know you know it. You think you don't know it, but your mind notices it. How can you differentiate Hello Kitty from an actual human being? Right? It's pretty obvious. The reason for that, as you slowly transform, what if we were to add, slowly transform Hello Kitty into a person bit by bit. Well, first you'd have to add more than a line for a smile, and actual eyes, and then, you know, nostrils, and just think of all the things that you have to add to Hello Kitty to make her look like a human. It's like the number of things that you need to add there is a lot. So if you take that as just a stepping stone, a starting point, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? This one. It's almost like I'm going to make an AI here with like 7 toes or something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But it's not defined. 1, 2, 3. I guess the fourth one's kind of stuck in there. Let me fix that. Someone's going to say I made AI art. Isn't that something now? If you make really good art, this is going to happen. It's probably happening already. That somebody's going to accuse you of using AI, even though you might have spent hours and days and you studied for years and years. Oh my God! Look at all that stuff in there. I'm not drawing all that. Jesus. I can make some lines, suggestive lines. I just go like this. But I do recognize some things like this area here. Okay. Something like that. And people just appreciate those details. So, I mean, if you make Hello Kitty and then give her a body, and then let's go from Hello Kitty into, let's say, Spider-Man. Right? It's a 1990s comic book Spider-Man, not the latest Spider-Man with all the CGI junk, but just an old-fashioned, maybe even 1960s kind of Spider-Man, old school Spider-Man, where it's a very good drawing. You can see all the fingers, all the toes, but somehow you know it's not real. It's illustration. It's a cartoon. Right? It's like an advanced cartoon. So what is it that Spider-Man's missing? And these guys who draw at Marvel Comics, man, they can draw. Like they're so talented. But so their anatomy is good, the structure is good, but you still know it's not real because of something, right? And that is a lot of these little details. The more details that you add, the closer you get to reality. Even if you drew with really bad, let's say, I'm going to choose the word, not anatomy, but bad foreshortening, bad proportions, but you had every single detail. You draw every single detail of every toenail and every hair and everything, it's going to look interesting if nothing else. Right? It might not be good, because people say, the anatomy of the arm's too long, and it looks deformed, and this and that. So it's not going to be great, but it'll look really interesting. So it's always worth the time, I think, to go ahead and... anyway, what happens if you look back in history? I've done this 100 times, if not 1,000 times. I look back at old drawings I did, and I say, you know what? I abandoned that drawing. I let it go too soon. If I had just kept working... And you'll say, well, you can always work on it later. And it's like, yeah. Wait a few years and see how that works out for you. You don't go back. You never go back. So finish what you're working on. That's the end of this song. So this song, I think there's a problem we need to bring up. There's a problem with the sound on that song. It doesn't sound rich enough. It's not bad. The composition's all good, but there's something, I don't know what it is. So where is that bone we're talking about? It's on the outside. So there's a bone on the inside, bone on the outside. But again, we're getting to the point where I can only do so much of this. So I'm just going to wing it. And more of this muscle should be on the inside, that curved muscle. This one can be more like that. All these details matter. Oh, it's gonna kill me. I keep going back for that opacity. Knuckle. Toe knuckle. What do you call a knuckle on your feet? Is it a toe knuckle? Back here. Define these. Okay. And toenails. See? Just looks more detailed. Your eyes notice that stuff. These here are supposed to be eyes. But I kind of want it to be... I want it to look like it's carved like a totem. Yeah, I'll just stick with this color. You're going to draw objects. If you have the same exact philosophy that you have when you're drawing the body, you can also find a little bit of success in there. Which means every moment that you take to add a little bit more lighting, a little bit more shading, and a bit more detail, it's all time well spent. The worst of the worst of the worst is when you're young and everybody who draws goes through this. What your brain will make excuses. You get older, you're going to hate yourself for doing this. But your brain, it wants to be lazy. And it wants to say, that's good enough. And it'll make excuses. And it'll say something like, let's look at this area here. This area here, obviously extremely sloppy, unfinished, right? This would be more finished, getting closer. But you look at this and your brain will tell you things like, it's supposed to be like that because it's witty. And, it's not the focal point of the image. And you just make excuse after excuse after excuse. And when you get older, you hate yourself for... You look back on yourself and you say, man. And you see these artists everywhere. They're in the forums and asking for advice. Like, give me tips. I want to know how to improve myself. And, well, there's the other problem. It's like, no, you don't. Do you? Really? Do you want to know how to improve yourself? Or are you asking for attention? You want everybody to tell you you're good. I actually go into some of these forums trying to get, tips to improve. I really want to know. Because I'm at this point where I can't push myself any further on my own, and I really want to get some tips from actual professionals and people who are, you know, better than me or have been doing this longer, or whatever, however you say it. And it's hard to find. That's how you know, like, you're really doing your work. You can't find anybody to give you more advice. And that's not to, you know, it's not at all bragging. Sometimes it's just hard to find people, technically speaking. Sometimes people just don't have time for it. So there's all that stuff. Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody just came home. If you hear any grunting like a wild animal in the background, it's my kids. A little bit of light up here. Yeah, that's what my kids sound like. Homegrown, you know, straight off the farm. One thing I always neglect to do that I know would help me a lot is I do a good job. I'll pat myself on the back. I do a good job at just general light and shade, reflective light and this and that. And I always completely forget to add any cast shadows, which are the best shadows, you know. But they're the easiest ones too. It's like, you know, that's the introduction to shadows is like draw a tree and then draw a shadow by the tree. It's like, okay. So I'm more focused on like the harder stuff, and I forget the simple thing, and it looks funny. So anyway, some controversial topics perhaps. Oof, there she goes, 5-year-old. Get this crease over here. I gotta shut the door before this accidentally turns into some kind of like domestic abuse in the background noise. It's not. They're just coming home from school and there's 3 kids, so they're gonna be fighting. Okay. But this might be close to mission accomplished. I came in, my goal was to clean up the leg. It looked all scratchy and sketchy, and that's done. Next will be, yeah, this might be a perfect time to quit anyway. I'll go beat the kids off camera. Right, see, like this area here. That's what the legs used to look like, and now they don't. Silky smooth. I actually have to dirty them up a little with some texture. And yeah, I'll come back and do all of the fabric and the hair. That'll be fun. I'll take a break for now. I'll put the color back on. Looking good. I don't know why that leg brace is there, leg band or something, but I was thinking it might have like a dagger in it, and then, but you can't see the dagger because it's on the other side. Then it would be an inner dagger, but I don't know if I want to draw. I don't feel comfortable drawing a dagger on the inside there for some reason. Maybe I could decorate the whole thing with daggers. That would make sense. Oh no, because it wouldn't make sense, but I would like it. It would be cool. Yeah. At least it serves decorative, not just a band, you know. I have some kind of decorative, symbolic meaning that way. And if that were the case, we could add more. We could put another one around here, maybe around there, and that would help with the perspective a bit, which is obviously struggling on that leg. Okay, as I'm gonna take a break. Let me see. How long has it been anyway? According to the machine, we have, where is it? Oh yeah, 34 minutes for that one. Well, that was fun. Okay, that's it. We're done. Until next time. See you guys.